Hi, my name is Andrew Rafferty, and this is my capstone for ACTE651. The lab that I chose to make as inquiry. So I already had my lessons planned and course schedule mapped out. So I chose to go with the lab that I was already doing and really edit it so that it was truly inquiry based and not just what we have been doing for the past couple years. So it was quite a big change. It did take longer than I was expecting, especially with the holidays coming up. And then I think we had like 6 actual class days before finals after break, 2 days of Keystone testing, and then 2 days of finals. But I did notice that the way these questions were worded, which were different, more open-ended, and hypothesis-based, did drive up student engagement, and they did seem to have more fun and collaborate better during the lab. So how I had it set up was in the beginning, they had to hypothesize on what caused acid rain, what was the process. So hopefully they were talking about the products of burning fossil fuels, what those products were, those gases going up into the air, reacting with water in the clouds, and then falling down as acidic rain. And then guessing or interpreting what elements and compounds might be involved in this process. Then they had to design their procedure and get it initialed by me before they could get going. My worry here was that some of them would design a procedure that would focus on like water running through the soil and not gases. If I had plenty of time, I'd love to let them try that hypothesis out and just see how that affects it, and we can even go into hard and soft water off of that, but I try to steer them towards gases. Then they performed their experiment, collected their data, and afterwards they had some reflection and made some connections to not only acid rain, acids and bases and chemical equations, but global warming and climate change that we have covered after combustion reactions. So I have 2 videos here. The first one is from a lab group. I did get permission from the parents at the start of the class. This is the gases that the students collected, and they had to come up with how they would collect 2 of the gases, just air, and most of the students decided that they would use a syringe. And then for carbon dioxide, a lot of them decided that they would use a straw to use their own breath to put CO2 into the water. So here they are putting one of their gases. I think this was either nitrous oxide or sulfur oxide. That's Justice. He does our morning announcements. And then over here at the end of the lab, one of the last things they had to do was neutralize whatever their products were. So you can see this group was having some difficulties getting all of their colors back to green for universal indicator, so it was neutral and safe to go down the drain. Some of them would choose an acid or a base and add a little bit too much and go over, and then they would have to go back and add some more. But it was a good learning experience, and it tied into our warm-up the next day where kids had to change the colors of our chemistry, which I just filled up some test tubes with universal indicator, and they got to play around with different acids and bases to change the colors that way. So how this fit in with our levels of inquiry, I think it was somewhere between levels 3 and level 4. There were parts of it that were definitely level 4, but overall I would say we're closer to guided inquiry because I did present the question that they were trying to answer.